We want to say welcome to the Power of Possibility. Thank you so much, Miss Beautiful Francia. See, for those of you who are joining us, just by way of introduction, my name is Saya Seal. I am the founder of the Power of Possibilities. I wear many hats, but tonight conversation is going to be very unique because I'm wearing the hat of Imam as well as the founder of the Power of Possibility podcast. For those of you who may be wondering what is the Power of Possibility about, it is a platform that we believe God is using to allow individuals to share their story and help identify the God-given potential, right? We believe in Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5, it talks about before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. I called you, I consecrated you, and I had a plan and purpose for your life. And this is the goal of the Power of Possibilities, is to continuously share the good news about Jeremiah chapter 1 and help other individuals identify, if you have not, identify your God's given potential. And even if you have, how can we use your story to inspire, educate, and motivate another person who may still be trying to figure out what is the God's given potential? And owner, Miss Francia, we can look at me a little bit. Good evening, Miss Beautiful Francia Fitz from TCO. I have the distinct honor tonight to have this young lady join to talk about her educational journey. Many of you know we're having a lot of college graduations, high school graduations, so I want to shout out to all of our graduates, our students, our children who are actually making their communities proud. I want to say congratulations. I pray that God bless you. And whatever your new endeavors are, whatever your path takes you, I pray that the Lord bless the works of your hands. So this evening, again, as I said, I have my own Miss Francia Fitz Monticia, who happens to be my only daughter, a recent graduate from UNC Chapel Hill. So, Miss Francia, welcome to the Power Possibility. Well, a little bit about who is Francia? What do people get when they get Miss Francia? So you just want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what do people get when they hear about Francia?
First, I would like to thank my mom for bringing me on to the Power of Possibilities. And as you can see, I am a recent grad of UNC Chapel Hill, so we are wearing our Carolina boots. And as far as who is Francia, I would say Francia is a wild card. So when you get Francia, you're talking about myself as an individual that you have to meet in person. You know who Francia is. One day you will meet the super sweet side of Francia. Another day you'll meet the bossy side of Francia. Another day you'll meet the Chapel Hill grad of Francia. Or another day you'll meet the Francia who's just ready to get the conversation over with. So honestly, I'm a very unique individual, and with those different unique experiences, I'm just somebody you have to meet. And you have to continue meeting so you can see all the various sides of who Francia really is. Because if I were to sit here and try to tell you who I am in one word, it would be impossible. Because, like my mom said, I have many hats.
Interesting. So we have Francia, multifaceted. At any day in time, you can meet a different version of Francia. Interesting. So I hope through this podcast we get to understand a little bit of some of those versions because it might be impossible to have all of the versions of Francia. But out of your personality, Francia, who are you in terms of family, relationship?
Who am I in terms of family relationship? Well, I would just like to restate that I am the only daughter in the Seals Castle. So I'm the first to my father, I'm second to nobody. I'm my mother's only daughter. I'm my brother's only sister. So I'm so happened. Mostly whatever Francesca says, it goes.
So whatever Francina says is go, right? So you recently graduated from Chapel Hill. What did you study at Chapel Hill?
I earned my Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and I minored in Philosophy and Social and Economics.
That's a lot. Double minor, right?
Double minor.
Wow. So the reason why we're here today, we want to talk a little bit about your journey and your experiences, so your education. So I know you did not just get to go to Chapel, right? You started from someplace. So share a little bit about your journey, maybe starting from high school to Chapel Hill.
Well, all throughout high school, all throughout my elementary, or I forgot what you call it, I was a straight A student. Our family expect nothing but A's from us, so I continued to be a straight A student up until high school. I graduated high school with a 4.2, 4.3. That was 4 years ago, but I know I graduated with honors from high school. And I was applying to colleges my senior year, and my dream was to go to Carolina. Unfortunately, the first time I applied to colleges, I got into 3 out of my 4 choices, and where I really wanted to go was Carolina. I was not accepted. I was not accepted to Carolina my first year applying. So I ended up going to Hampton University. That's where Hampton University is a HBCU. I knew my end goal was to end up at Carolina, so I did everything I could in my freshman year of college to ensure I kept my grades up and to make sure that I would be a good transfer application because like I said, end goal was to go to UNC. So I tried again and I'm sitting here, a graduate from my dream school. So I kept my eye on the goal. I went after it after this past Saturday, walking across the stage from my dream school. So I used Hampton University as a stepping stone, as a foundation to prepare me to get used to college life and to make sure I still ended up where I want to be. I didn't get to go straight through Chapel Hill. Got the opportunity to see both sides of what institution of an institution. First example, a HBCU, what a HBCU can offer me, and a PWI. So I got to see the different worlds because I was deterred away from UNC this year, but I got the opportunity to still experience Hampton and meet valuable people.
Couple of words you use which really caught my attention. You talk about end goal. Important it is to have your end goal in mind. So you may not always get to your end goal, but as long as you have that in mind, your decisions and your actions will always be centered around where you're going, not where you are right now, but where you're going. What were some of those lessons that you learned as you were focusing on your end goal? Why is true you still did not have your first acceptance to Carolina A&T, you went to Hampton, as you mentioned. How did that make you feel, and how were you able to navigate while you were still keeping your mind on your end goal? What are some of the things you did?
Well, I'm not really someone that takes no for an answer. So instead of the word, a lot of times people are like delayed but not denied. So
delayed, not denied.
My acceptance to UNC was delayed but not denied. And being the type of person that I am, my ability to keep going, my determination, my tenacity kept me focused to try again. And it's being that I was at Hampton, I learned more. I dug a little deeper into the next time I applied for the application cycle, just knowing what I wanted to do. My goal motivated me enough to continue to pursue it. So I knew I was going to be a Carolina grad. I told myself I was going to be a Carolina grad, and I did everything in my power to make sure that's what happened. So I motivated myself. I talked to my mother, my father. I talked to a lot of people. Cause if it was up to me and I was at Hampton University, I would have stayed at Hampton University for 1 semester and transferred to Carolina this semester. A lot of like just staying, and I'm actually glad that I got to experience the HBC lifestyle for 1 year before transferring. So just being able to stay focused on what I really wanted is what motivated me to continue to apply myself, to better myself, to do everything I can to put myself in a better position to get into the school that I want.
Oh, that's a lot of nuggets right there. So you're saying, um, no, it's not the end, right? Your denial was not the end, even though it was delayed, but it was not your denial. That's very powerful. So many of you who are listening, there are things you might want to do in life that you're still seeking answers from, and you may not have gotten the answer yet. But what I'm hearing Ms. Francia say tonight is your delay, right? You have to keep trying. And don't just settle, right? Because she did not settle. What she did was she still kept her eyes on the end goal. So a couple of things we want to reiterate tonight. You have to keep your eyes on your end goal. You may have many no's. I remember Michael Jordan said in his career path, he had gotten so many no's in his life, but the first one, yes, was the whole game changer. So you had to keep on going, keep your eyes on the prize while you wait for your final yes. And I heard you talk about putting in the best work. So the second time you apply, you did something different. And what was that thing that you did different?
I think now that I went through the process, I know what a has to look like. Carolina just wanted to make sure that you were a good student and well-rounded in college courses. So they wanted to make sure you can actually handle college work. A lot of my other recently, a lot of them got in because they did take college courses when they were coming up, or they took advanced level courses. So just showing that you can handle the coursework was amazing. I believe I took 18 credits my first year at Hampton, but I still finished my semester with a 4.2 at Hampton because I was part of the honors program at Hampton as well. So just showing that not only am I can excel in my coursework, but I'm an honors student as well. So I take on that extra load to show that I can handle the academic rigor at whatever school I go to.
Well, so put in the work. While you wait, put in the work. What are some of your aspirations, Vincent?
My aspiration in life is to be a criminal defense attorney. But with that being said, I would like to get to the point where my money is working for me. So I would like to retire early and hopefully retire my parents early if they haven't done so already by the time I've reached that goal. So I want to own a law firm, have taken a law firm, and again, make my money work for me.
Retire early and make your money work for you. You know that comes with a lot of work.
Yeah. So since that comes with a lot of work, I'm doing my seeds now so I can reap the benefits later. So I'm putting all in now while I still have my youth. I still have lots and lots of energy and I still have time to continue sowing those seeds so I can reap the benefits when I'm 30 or 40 in the next 10 to 20 years.
So one of the things I shared on Facebook was a quote that was used at your graduation, where the guest speaker talked about an individual does not accomplish all their goals in isolation of the community. And I'd like you to share a little bit about your support system and how that helped you navigate through your educational journey. So when you think about your support system, what are the different pieces of your support system and how those pieces have been able to help you?
My support system is, of course, my family and my faith. So FNF, family and faith. And being that I went to over 30,000 students. I got to experience, I got to observe different people's family backgrounds. A lot of people come from different demographics, and me, I'm blessed to have such a strong, close-knit family, and I have a big support system. So if I can't get my mom or I can't come get my dad, I can get my brother. Someone's gonna be there to answer the phone whenever I need them. We support each other no matter what. If I feel like I'm struggling with an assignment, I call my mom, I call my dad. Someone's gonna be there to pick me up. So being that I have such a strong family support system, I know I always have somebody to rely on, because I know I'm not just going to college for myself. I'm also going to college for my family. So this degree wasn't only for me, but it's also for each and every in house. When I just failed a test and I'm crying, has picked up the phone when a professor is stressing me out, has picked up the phone when I just can't figure out what this assignment is, has picked up the phone when I just needed somebody to talk to or to vent because I felt like college is stressing me out. I can't do this anymore. So this degree had my name written on it, but like my commencement speaker said, it has all the individual names on it as well, because my entire village has helped me obtain my degree. And then not only has my family supported me while my home away from home, while on campus, I got the opportunity to become really good friends with other people who helped me grow my religion during my junior year of college. Me and a couple of my friends went to Elevation Youth Night, which was every Thursday. So I got even closer to, I grew my faith, and those people who I grew my faith with, we are really close now. So when my mom or my dad or my brothers couldn't pick up the phone, I always knew I could call on God or someone, and he would respond.
Hmm. Your faith and your family. So what would you say to somebody who may say, well, I don't have the family, or I'm still trying to figure out my faith? What are some of the words of encouragement you give that person?
College is one of those places where you will definitely find yourself, you will find another version of yourself. So just because you don't have something right now, you can continue to figure out who you are, but make sure you take the time to get to know who you are. Make sure you take the time to really invest in your faith. Being that if you're going to college or on a college campus, there are support groups out there. I would tell you put yourself out there because there's people willing to help you, but don't rush into things that can make you feel uncomfortable. But really get to know who you are as a person, and there will be people along the way to better you. Because I know through my college experience, I met various people who helped me become a better person, who helped me also get this degree as we're here today.
Yeah, it's powerful. Faith, I know you talk about one of the things that this platform is all about is about Jeremiah 1, get to know yourself. And one of the important things to say as a young woman is really invest in yourself. We are living in an environment that is so distracted. We're so distracted by peer pressure. Or a lot of us do not believe in ourselves. So we have our own insecurities because of something that may have happened in our child along the way. So I know this may not be something you are anticipating, but what would you say to that person who don't even believe in yourself? You said believing in yourself is easy, right? It's easy when the support system is around, when you can pick up the phone, when you have a dad, obviously, that you say to that individual who is still questioning and say, I don't even know I can do this anymore. I want to give up. They might be trying to graduate or trying to enter college or have another dream after college and like, I can do this anymore.
What I would say to that person is always remember your reason why. If you're ever doubting yourself, if you don't know if you can keep going, always remember why you're doing this in the first place. And when you remember your reason to continue to keep going. And if you're doing something and you don't have a reason why, maybe you shouldn't be doing it. Maybe you should be, but you should always have a reason why you're doing something. So when you sit and reflect, those nights where I say I can't do school anymore, well, being that I want to be a lawyer, I have to do school. So it's like, why am I doing this? I'm doing this because of this. Knowing your reason why, knowing your end goal should keep you motivated.
So it is the why that keep you going. You always have to have the why in perspective, and sometimes it may not even be a why anymore, right? And then you have to repivot to reassess why you are even pursuing what you're pursuing. This is really powerful. You talk about wanting to be a lawyer. What are some of the reasons that's driving you to want to be a lawyer?
For me, I've always mentioned that I want to do this since birth. But as I've gotten older and I had to explain to others as a lawyer, it's very apparent to me that everyone in the world has a gift. My gift is using my voice to advocate for others and to speak for others. I have a very powerful voice and I want to be able to use that to help other people. And I also like to add that I do like arguing. So being a lawyer was the perfect profession for me. But if we're gonna have a conversation where we're exchanging our ideas, the conversation must be with facts. It needs to be from a credible source. Like, if we're arguing about, I don't know, oranges and apples, and you tell me that for orange is blue, the conversation is immediately finished. Unless you say, oh, well, there was a rare sighting of X, Y, and Z. The sources need to be credible, or we cannot have a conversation. Use my voice to talk to other people in a empowering way and to make sure that I'm using credible sources in order to help those people. Being the lawyer was the perfect path.
Oh, you talk about facts. You're a fact-based person, but sometimes we have to balance that and say with and I think sometimes that's when it becomes challenging, right? If you're a person who is so fact-based and really don't have empathy or don't demonstrate empathy for the situation at hand, sometimes it can be a little off. So in everything there has to be that balance, facts and empathy. You don't want to forget about that. Interesting question. High or low moments. Let's start with the low. A low moment in college where you almost felt like I can do this. And how were you able to overcome that time?
Well, one of the lowest moments I've had in college was probably like the ending of my junior year, beginning of my senior year. It just felt like nothing was going in my favor. I was just so glad for the semester to just be over. And the junior year was just, I don't know what junior year was, but I graduated now. And I took a class for my philosophy minor. I took the class was called Inductive Logic and that was probably the hardest class I took at Carolina in all 4 years. I even took a coding class. I passed a coding class, which is very hard, but I put the work in to make sure I got my grade. But the inductive logic, reasoning, scientific method class, I tested my intelligence. Taking a test one day, I knew I failed. It's one of those places where if you see a student crying on campus, it's a norm. You already know why they're crying because it's academically challenging, it's academically. As soon as I left the class, after taking that test, I called my parents and I'm bawling my eyes out. I put my mom and my dad on a joint call. I'm like, oh my God, I know I failed this test. I did terrible. I'm just crying. And then all of a sudden my dad goes, don't worry about it. And I was like, okay, well, my help me get through God. She tells me not to worry about it. So she said, just ask your professor for help. I was like, you know what? Maybe it's not that big of a deal, so, I mean, I was failing the class, but I ended up getting a B in the class, so that was the hardest semester in my life, and at that time, I was also preparing to go to law school, so just have to balance applications and also try to maintain my grades. I felt like my whole life, like it was, I felt like I was running after time, like time was of the essence, and I didn't have any time. But just to call my dad, and I'm crying, bawling my eyes out about the test, and he's basically telling me, just let it go.
I had to laugh because knowing your dad who's very strict when it comes to education and wanting you to always have excellent schools and all of that. And then, so I can understand why you were so afraid, like, Dad, I can't believe I'm failing this class. But it must have been very relieving to just feel like, no, this class not falling. That's deep lessons, because sometimes in our life, we think we're come to an end because we get a blow things and all the work that we put in to get to that point. So whoever is listening, whatever you have or have come across that may seem like a roadblock, don't be too hard on yourself. Allow yourself some grace, just the grace to prepare, just the grace that you've already able to get to that point should be enough for you to not try to kill yourself. So imagine how your dad said something different. What would you have done?
I would have kept crying. I
Wow.
I don't know. Probably just kept crying. And even my parents knew how hard that class was, because I showed them the work and they were like, but why would you take this class? So I guess we all met at an understanding view. It's my senior year. My dad gave me great marking to graduate. So
Give grace. So for parents who are listening, you know, sometimes we try to project ourselves. We want to see our children excel to the best, especially for some of us who have high standards. But we have to understand, we gotta be able to balance reality with the individuals and the situation at hand. Because that could really derail a person who has this great potential. A lot of people want individuals to affirm that they believe in them. We can learn to provide motivation to our children or even our situation is, I think we have to understand the process they use to get to where they are. The fact that you put in the work, the fact that you give it your best should be recognized. Wow, it's really interesting. So that was your lowest moment. What about your high?
my highest moment at Carolina was graduation. So this past Saturday, one class of 2025 graduated. They gave us fireworks. I don't know what school fireworks for their graduates, but that was such a beautiful moment. I dragged my family along with me. They were happy to come. I dragged my family along with me, and we were up from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. just to watch the fireworks. So just it's still such a surreal feeling graduating from my dream school. So I did it. I graduated. I made more. When you accomplish one of your goals, you do need to sit down and reflect, take grace. Because recently, I'm just such a high achiever, and when thing happened, I kind of beat myself up about it. So one of my goals didn't happen right the day before graduation, and I felt like the sky was falling. I called my mom and she goes, tomorrow's a big day. So just being able to brush it off and take in my accomplishments, like I just graduated from the first and oldest university in the nation. And I'm biased, of course, UNC Chapel was the best school in the entire world, but I graduated from a public Ivy League. I deserve to give myself a round of applause and to give myself grace. Of course, I'm always running after the next thing. What can I do next? What can I do next? But just being able to take it in and know, paper said, job well done.
Wow, that is powerful, Francis, because you say that I'm because times we want the next. and we really don't take the time to celebrate it now. Enjoy the moment. Most times we're always after the next thing once this is almost like a check in the box. So folks, for those of you who are listening, it's important that we celebrate our, also celebrate the process, enjoy the process. This is a young lady, as you said, Francia, getting ready to graduate. We're on this, and you are one of a goal, in my perspective, that wasn't as critical because you've already done part of it. You get a so that's what happened. I'm glad you were able to let it go and enjoy the moment because it's a big deal. As I was listening to the commencement speech again, I believe I heard only 5 to 6% of the worst population earn college degree. So just put it in perspective, 5 to 6%. You are amongst the 5 to 6%. And if you really dissect that number and look at from a minority perspective, I do believe it's even smaller. It's worth celebrating. I'm pausing here because we're having a lot of graduations. Our kids are doing great. They're graduating from high school, colleges. We have to encourage them to celebrate. This is a major, major accomplishment. A lot to complete and be able to finish any critical course. So when you, for those of you who are watching, I mean, sometimes people say, I do extra because I love to celebrate. Every opportunity I have, I love to celebrate. So let's celebrate our kids and let's encourage our students, our children to celebrate. This is major. We are dealing with a lot of crisis in this world right now. So for those who are able to accomplish a major milestone, we have to give them a round of applause. For that, I'm gonna give them a round of applause. You can step and walk around the world. I mean, anytime I turn to social media, there's some kind of celebratory comment for our students. So I want to say congratulations to all our students and to the parents, because it takes a lot to pour into our kids. It takes a lot of sacrifices, it takes a lot of giving yourself away. So congratulations to all of you. We're pretty much winding down, Francia. One of the last question or a few last questions I may have would be, what advice? Before we go there, do you have any questions for mommy?
No questions from my mom. I already know everything about her.
All right, no questions for my mom. Already know everything about her. What would you say?
Wait, no, I
Okay,
do have a question.
all right.
Okay. From your perspective, where do you see your daughter in the next 5 to 10 years?
So when I talk about Miss Francia, folks, for those of you who may not know, I am an overachiever. But when I talk about my daughter, I always say she's a double sire. That means double overachiever. And it's a good and bad thing because sometimes it gets scary because she wants the best all the time. Very driven, very focused. And I'm grateful that your faith has grown, that you're spending time with the Lord. And for me, I feel like that's one of the most important things that my mom left with me, where my mom poured into me the value of faith, the value of education. I saw my mom pray, do a 40 days fast, spend a lot of time praying and referencing God. So now that I see you growing into that beautiful young woman who is not just focused on other achievements in her personal goal, faith. It brings me so much joy. Somebody told me at the graduation, it felt like I was graduating. I was like, yes, because all I want to see that you expect the best version of you. But also, I believe in you, Daddy believe in you, we believe in you. But my only advice to you will be able to find a balance. Because there will be many things in life that you may not be able to get at the time you want it. but just being able to balance that. And not beat yourself, because sometimes the decision is not a reflection of our action, a reflection of things that we have no control over. So how can Francea accept when things don't go the way she wants it? That doesn't change who she is. Sometimes it's just a reflection of the poor decisions that people make. But things don't go. See Miss Francea as a double side, a double achiever. I can close my eyes knowing that baby girl run for mom and dad. So it's a good thing to have that level of individual who is inspiring to really take after their parents or even more. And then being a lawyer, then yeah, can cause more problem and then, no, I'm just kidding, but but I know you are on a path that is, and then who were to ask your dad, it would be like a whole path. What do you think your dad would say?
I think Dad will pick up the whole time.
To talk about who his baby girl is, but it's a beautiful thing to have that level of support and love and family. And that's one of the things we've made sure, my husband and I, to make sure our kids really have that environment where they feel loved, appreciated, and valued. And some people might say no amount of love is too much, no amount of celebration is too much, no amount of reaffirmation is too much, no amount of prayer is too much. So we have to constantly create that environment for our kids to excel. So with that all said, congratulations again, our princess. With that all said, what would you say as your final advice to folks who are listening?
My final advice to people that are listening, to young adults, to grown women, I would always tell yourself, never tell yourself no, never limit yourself, always throw out your net and see what you get. Like when I was told no, I was look at other ways to get to the same goal. So the initial route you thought you were gonna take, maybe you need to go around it. So again, just never tell yourself no. Make sure that you're never in a position where someone can tell you no. Make sure you always put yourself there. That's my advice. If you go, do everything in your power to reach that goal, no matter how long it takes. It takes some longer than others, but at the end of the day, we're still all striving towards the same thing. Don't be discouraged because it took someone 2 years and it took you 4. As long as you still accomplish your goal, be satisfied with yourself. Time is an illusion. Get it done.
Time is
Illusion.
Wow. Those are powerful words, Ms. Francea. We want to thank you for joining the Power Possibility platform. Again, I've been your host, Saya Seal, a mom, a wife, a minister, a philanthropist, and more. And most importantly, the global woman. So again, I want to say Mother's Day to all of you, all my beautiful out there, mothers who are making it happen and giving themselves away. And again, Francea, I want to say thank you for really taking time to share your journey. I know yesterday was really difficult for you. I didn't think we were gonna have this, but you cover it and be able to come on this platform. So I want to say thank you a lot for sharing here. And I hope you will continue to inspire, because that's what life is about. Let your story continue to inspire another person, but you never know who's the next person just waiting to hear how different say I make it and what can I do differently to accomplish my goal. So again, thank you to all of you who are listening. This is the Power of Possibility. You to follow us as we bring you more stories about purpose, passion, and prayer. God bless you. Until next time, remain blessed.